This is AION AI Builders, today's brief. Today's signal. All imagine your biggest competitor basically using exact same.
All right, so imagine you and your biggest competitor are basically using the exact same LLM to build your product.
Right, you think you're on a level playing field.
Exactly. You're both, optimizing prompts, managing inference costs, building out your agent architectures. But then overnight, Anthropic quietly hands your competitor a VIP pass to a structurally smarter, faster model.
And then they just lock the door right behind them.
Yeah. Suddenly your competitor isn't just out-engineering you, they're literally outthinking you at the foundational layer. So today we're looking at why AI parity just died. Welcome to the deep dive.
And because we know you are building and shipping daily, we are keeping this extremely tight. This is a 5-minute, highly concentrated expert critique of today's AION daily briefing.
Right. Our mission is strictly these 6 to 12-month engineering implications.
Yeah.
No fluff. The headline we're tracking is Anthropic arms cyber partners, Sinclair bets on rejuvenation drugs at scale.
Which is pulling signals from Wired, MIT Tech Review, and by Bytego. But honestly, the briefing just lists these as separate events, which is, well, it misses the point.
Right. It misses the connective tissue, which really comes down to one thing, right? Information bottlenecks.
Exactly. Bottlenecks in compute access, bottlenecks in agent handoffs, and bottlenecks in biological data.
So let's hit that access bottleneck first, because for the last few years, we basically assumed the API leveled the field. It was kind of like AI net neutrality.
Right. But Anthropic is officially GAIing a hardened model variant called Mythos. It's exclusively for vetted cyber and defense partners.
While the rest of us, general enterprise users, we just get Claude Fable 5 dropped onto AWS Bedrock.
And here's where the source material gets it dangerously wrong. The AION briefing frames this as, standard cloud infrastructure segmentation.
Like having a dedicated server versus shared hosting?
Exactly. But throttling compute availability is one thing. Throttling actual base intelligence and reasoning capability, that is an entirely different paradigm.
Because Fable 5 on Bedrock, you get the VPC setups, the compliance, the corporate rails, but you are completely walled off from the raw reasoning power of Mythos.
Right. The baseline assumption for builders has always been model parity. You assumed if you hit a reasoning ceiling, everybody else was hitting that exact same ceiling.
Right. So the differentiator was just your UX or your proprietary data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Mythos breaks that. AI capability is officially a trust-based B2B asset now. If your competitor has Mythos and you have Fable 5, you are no longer competing on a level playing field of logic.
Wow. Wait, so as a power user, do I panic? What's the practical takeaway here?
You audit your stack today. You either find a partnership pathway to those tier 1 models, or you aggressively optimize your agent architectures to compensate for the intelligence ceiling you're stuck with.
Which logically brings us right to the second bottleneck. Because if we can't get the smartest model, we have to, engineer our way out of the intelligence deficit.
We have to win on architecture.
Exactly. And that's what the Salesforce data in today's briefing is all about. They just published lessons from 20,000 enterprise AI agent deployments.
Which is incredibly rare. We're so used to startup toy demos on X, a single agent coding a snake game.
Yeah, but this is actual production grade data.
Right. And their main finding completely upends the startup narrative. Model quality isn't the primary failure point in production.
The briefing says the failure point is orchestration failures, but as an engineer, that is frustratingly vague. What exactly is failing?
It's the context handoff. It's state passing degradation. Think about the mechanics. You've got agent A researching, passing a JSON output to agent B, who codes.
Okay.
But because of context window saturation, agent A compresses the data, right? It hallucinates a key in the JSON schema.
Oh, man.
So agent B gets malformed data, misinterprets it, and writes broken code. The whole loop just crashes.
So it's basically like we've been obsessing over building this massive, bigger brain, but we completely forgot to build a functioning nervous system to route the signals.
That is the perfect technical metaphor. You aren't fighting the model's intelligence. You are fighting the lossy compression between the models.
So all these, thin wrapper agent startups,
they're going to fade incredibly fast. What actually compounds over the next year is robust multi-agent infrastructure. You need explicit human-in-the-loop checkpoints at high-stakes nodes.
Basically a QA checklist for state passing.
Exactly. You have to assume intelligence degrades at every node and build your error handling around that.
Okay, so that connects perfectly to the third bottleneck.
Yeah.
Because we're taking all the sophisticated orchestration and pointing it at the ultimate engineering problem, right? The human lifespan.
Yeah, this is where it gets crazy.
The briefing covers David Sinclair's X Prize for whole body rejuvenation trials, and Peter Diamandis talking about the massive capital flowing from an aging demographic.
Right. But the briefing treats them as isolated stories. Sinclair's biotech, Diamandis' finance.
Right.
But for the engineer listening, this is a massive compute and data pipeline story. It's an aggressive convergence trade.
Because you can't just throw raw biological data at a single LLM and ask for a cure. You have to orchestrate it.
Exactly. These biotech companies are building multi-agent systems to run molecular simulations. Agent A proposes a molecule. Agent B simulates toxicity across millions of cellular states.
And if the context degrades when passing that chemical structure between them, the whole pipeline fails, just like the enterprise software example.
Precisely. Curing aging is an information processing bottleneck now. That demographic surge Diamandis is tracking. They're not just buying treatments, they are funding the massive data pipelines to process this stuff.
So AI-assisted health and biotech are just merging into a single tech stack investment.
Right. Over the next 12 months, watch the hiring surge for engineers who know fault-tolerant multi-agent systems, but specifically in biotech.
Okay, we've got a wrap, so let's quickly pull this all together. Bottleneck 1, frontier models are getting gated. Mythos proves parity is dead.
Bottleneck 2, multi-agent orchestration. The real failure is context handoff, so you have to build the transmission, not just the engine.
Right. And bottleneck 3, longevity biotech, is where all this massive compute and orchestration capital is actually deploying.
Which leaves us with one final, unmentioned synthesis to chew on.
Lay it on me.
Well, we know the highest tier models like Mythos are locked behind defense and security clearance structures, right?
Right, the VIP fast lane.
And cracking human longevity requires that exact frontier compute. So, will the ultimate rejuvenation drugs be gated by the exact same power structures that control the compute?
Wow. So if the foundational intelligence is gated, the biological cures it discovers might be gated right alongside it. VIP lanes for lifespan.
Something to think about while you're optimizing your stack today.
That is a heavy, heavy second-order effect to end on. Thank you for joining us for this rapid-fire deep dive. Keep auditing your stack, keep building, and keep shipping.
That's your AION AI Builders briefing. Stay informed every weekday. Subscribe now and download the AION app at aionpowerhouse.com.